guys. This is Megan James, and welcome to the Megan James Show. So, I'm happy you're joining us here today. Likely, you're either a new listener, or you're a subscriber, or you just kind of happened upon us. Either way, I'm so happy to get to spend this time with you, and I thank you for listening to our podcast. So, today I want to talk about how I came along this journey, what led me here, how I got to where I am, and how I took a really shitty situation and built some positivity out of it. So one of the things that was bringing me down and not getting me where I wanted to go in life was my daily habits, my daily routines. And you've likely heard the expression, you are your habits. You are the lifestyle that you've crafted through what you do each and every day. It's all common sense. We all know this, but the difference is there are people out there who are called high performers. And I've studied habits for probably 3 years now. And I've studied everything from success habits, athletic habits, psychological habits, things that are mostly geared in a positive manner to replace negative habits you already have. So rather than trying to take away the negative, for instance, some people will set a goal to quit smoking. And they'll find that they're focused so hard on quitting smoking that that's all they ever think about, and they'll end up smoking again. So rather than try to focus on the negative habit that we want to take away, we want to start focusing more on good habits that we want to implement that could replace those not so great habits. So that's just the basic of habit formation, and honestly, one of the best books to start out on, if you're not familiar with the topic, is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Also, follow his podcast, check out his YouTube channel. He's a really well-rounded guy, well-versed in the area, and he just makes a lot of sense. I learned a great deal from this guy, and I highly recommend you check him out. And obviously, if you've never read any Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People will change your life. So those are really good books for developing a personal change, habit development in your own life and seeing it really take off. Those are great books for that. But if you want something more, maybe you haven't gotten that promotion you wanted, and you see these guys that are CEOs, and some of them are gut-wrenchingly miserable. They seem really, highly successful on the outside, but they're not sustaining very well, right? They're not able to really carry on that high level of performance. And then you see these other guys that are also very successful, but they're happy. And they have a pretty good family life, and, everything just seems sort of perfect. Well, they likely fit into the category of a high performer. So, I think probably the most well-versed, knowledgeable person in this arena on high performer habits has to be Brendon Burchard. So this guy took 20 years of experience and combined it into a novel just for you guys. I recommend checking that out. It comes in an audio book format. Before I read the book, I actually listened to the audiobook. The reason being is because there's so many principles that listening to it first ingrains it in your head. You can automatically start acting on it each and every day. Listening to that on your commute to work, to the gym, wherever, you can go ahead and start thinking about how these practices can start being implemented into your own life. And then follow up with the book and do each exercise that he recommends. But yeah, one of the things he talks about is, what's the purpose of the book? And, he talks about the individuals and teams that succeed more quickly than others and sustain that success over the long term. Those are what we call high performers. They're also usually happier, and they seem more motivated. They're able to sustain this long-term success. And, we'll see a dip in some people who have had a great amount of success, but after a while, they sort of dip down and fall off the spectrum. So he studied a series of people from all walks of life who are considered to be high performers. And he studied kind of what habits made them tick, what they implemented, and took the most important things from those studies. And he put them in a book and said, here you go. This is how these people have made millions. This is how these people have attained a fulfilling life. And all the secrets are right here. They're in these pages, and I think you guys really need to check it out. But I like how he talks about, not all habits are created equal. There's good habits, but they're not always great for everyone. So it's going to be specific to you and what you want to achieve. He also talks about achievement, it's not your problem, but alignment is. So you've probably already heard this before, what's available is not always what's important, right? So sometimes I wish that instead of funneling this idea down our throats in high school and college about get out there and achieve, go after the corporate job and climb your way up the corporate ladder and achieve. Instead of just asking us, what kind of life would you like to live? Simple as that. What kind of life would you like to live? Not what do you want to do? Because at the basis of that, when people ask, what do you do? Your average person's going to answer with their occupation. And that's because they've accepted that as their whole identity. I know all about this. I did it myself for many years. And it's a way to lose your own identity. So if you ever lose that job, say you have a physically enduring job and you, lose a limb for God's sakes, and you can't perform that job anymore, but your identity is tied to that job, it's going to cause a lot of havoc in your life. So you need to go ahead and start focusing on what your true identity is. That's a whole lot of digging through these limiting beliefs and developing your truth through what your core values are. And that's pretty much what life coaching is about. You can't be expected to do this on your own. You can, by all means, check it out. But having a coach makes the process expedited. It's still, going to push you, but it's going to be in a more professional atmosphere. It's going to take less time because you're being given this training by a professional who's done this 100 times, who's been through it themselves, and they know what they're doing. So I've gotten a little bit off track here, but, I just want to start this podcast by kind of giving you some resources that can help you out on this trek, because so many of us in the podcast community are going through a self-growth, self-development stage. Whether we're trying to gain more professional development or personal development, we're trying to better ourselves. So the more we talk about resources that we use, and the more we talk about what has helped us, the better off this community is going to be. So what's helped me are those 3 books, High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, and The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Those 3 books, if you just went out and bought those right now, will change your life. Because the only way you can change your life is if you change the way you think. If you keep thinking with a lack mentality, you're focusing on what you don't have. Maybe you are broke. But if you keep saying, I don't have the money to do this, I don't have the money to do that, then you're never going to have the money. You're always going to be living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck and living in this struggle. We all go through hard times. But struggle is a choice. And that's probably going to hurt a few of you. But it's true. If you're truly struggling, it's a choice. You're choosing to see that as a struggle. These things aren't happening to you. They're happening for you. These are obstacles that are coming into your life for a reason. Use them as a lesson. Something is going to come out of this that's positive. But if you don't remain open to that, if you don't guide your thoughts in a more growth mentality rather than a lack mentality, you're never going to see that opportunity. It's just going to pass you by, you're going to wave, and it's going to be gone. And you're going to be living the same broke-ass life that you've been living. trust me, I know. I've done it, and my clients have done it. So I'm speaking from quite a bit of experience. We need to start someplace, and self-development is a great road. I know it gets a lot of bad stigma, when you see somebody out reading a self-development book and you're like, oh, this guy has self-esteem issues. Actually, no, he's just trying to better himself, because we should know we can't change the world. We can't coach people. We can't make other people better. We can't help other people if we don't first help ourselves. Hey, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the Megan James Show. I apologize for the interruption, but I really just wanted to take this time to talk to you about something important. Did you know that you can actually get paid just for listening to this podcast? I know it sounds insane, but it's true. We just discovered this free new app called Podcoin, and it literally pays you to listen to podcasts. So here's how it works. You listen to podcasts and you earn Podcoin while you listen. Then you turn that Podcoin in for gift cards at places like Amazon or Starbucks. Or if you're a good, generous person, you can even donate those Podcoins to charity. The more you listen, the more you earn. So here's what you do. Download the app right now on iPhone or Android, and I have a special code for you today. Simply use our code, Megan James, and you'll get 300 Podcoin just for signing up. And if you listen to enough of us on here, then you can get a cappuccino at Starbucks or an awesome gift card on us. So go ahead and go listen to the podcast or virtually any podcast on Podcoin and sign up with the code Megan James. I swear it'll change the way you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening, and here's the rest of our show. Because how are we going to pour from an empty cup? You can't fill your neighbor's plate if yours is empty. So in order to get out there and really make a financial success or any kind of success of yourself, you've got to start changing your habits, because obviously where you are today is not where you want to stay. You're not happy with where you are. Well, you got here by your daily habits, your daily routines, and the actions you're either taking or not taking each day. So one of the things Brendan talks about in his book is keeping the main thing about the main thing the main thing. And some of you are like, what is going on? Okay, so let's break it down. You want to be a photographer. What is the main thing you need to focus on to be a photographer? Well, first you should probably have a camera, right? And practice, taking shots, and, a mentor is helpful. Find the main thing that you need to develop to be a photographer, wherever you're at, whether you're in a beginner stage, an intermediate stage, an advanced stage. Look at that main thing. Then, in regards to that main thing, think about what's the main thing to develop that main thing. And you'll focus on only the main things, the things that need to be done now, with a sense of urgency. Those things, the important things, those need to be done. And when you can start prioritizing the things in your life that you need to focus on versus the things that you want to focus on, that's when your life's going to start changing. Do you really want to go out there and network with some certain types of people? Probably not. But will networking with some of them lead you to a group of people you haven't met, wouldn't have met without this network? Yeah, definitely. And we all know that your network is in fact your net worth. So if you're not out there talking to people and shaking hands, you're probably not as successful as you could be. So doing the things that we may not want to do right now, getting out of our comfort zone instead of sitting on the couch, that's how we make something else. That's how we make something more of ourselves. And it takes a mindset, that need, that compelling why. Why am I doing this? A lot of people in fitness, they'll fall off of their fitness goals because their why isn't big enough. Their why starts with, I want to lose 15 pounds. Okay, that's sort of a negative goal because you're Like, again, you're taking something away, right? You're focused on removing something rather than adding something. So instead of losing 15 pounds, why don't we focus on developing a consistent, nutritious diet? Something focused on healthy, Or we focus on working out 3 times a week. Just implement some beginner steps. And once you start implementing good habits, you'll find the bad habits fall away. And I feel like this is something that should be mainstream. It should be common sense, but it's not. Because the problem with education today is it doesn't teach kids to think. It teaches them how to solve a math problem. It teaches them history, English, and whatever else that school is currently teaching. But it doesn't teach them how to think in the real world, how to actually solve problems, what's going to help them. Habits. And that's an age when we start developing habits that are either going to make or break our lives. So I want to take this time, no matter what age you are, no matter where you at, what stage you are, whether you're a college student, you're in a career, I want to take the time to say, find what works for you. Take the time to find yourself, find what you're interested in, find what drives you. Don't listen to the naysayers. What type of life do you want? And what do you need to do to get there? If you want to be a social media influencer, travel the world, see Italy 2 times a year, fine. What do you need to do that? What equipment do you need? What kind of cost of living is that? What are you going to have to do to maintain that? How are you going to make money at that? But is that going to be your passion? Don't define yourself by an occupation. Define yourself by the lifestyle you want to lead. We focus on, out of the 52 weeks a year, we're working 50, we get 2 weeks off, and usually not in a row. And we have a week to decide where we want to go. Hopefully the weather works out, but we're taking vacations to escape from the lives that we're constructing. It's not really what I wanted. I don't think that's what many people want. So part of what I do is help people design lives that they don't want to escape from. For some people, that's just living your life in different locations. Not taking vacations, but just a few times a year traveling wherever you want to go. Maybe you want to travel to 12 countries in a year. It's feasible. It's been done. And there's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to live the life that your school counselors, your parents, or anybody else has told you that you're supposed to live. You have full control over the life that you want, the life that you deserve. So start taking the reins. Get out there. Figure out what you need to do now. And it all starts with your daily routines. Once you figure out that goal-setting routine, what kind of life do you want? What do you need to achieve that? And you start breaking down these huge goals into smaller goals. You'll find they're attainable completely. You just have to start taking action. Don't wait. Take it now. Take 3 actions today that's going to set your life on a better path. Whether it has to do with a new career, or paying off your debt, or moving, getting a spouse. What is it that you really want, that you've put on the back burner to go after something you really don't want, you're not interested in, and it doesn't really light your soul on fire? Don't be afraid to chase after what makes you happy. You deserve it. Life's too short. Honestly. So today's just about giving you some tools. All right? Get familiar with podcasts. You've got a great start. Find the ones that really click, whether it's Jocko Willink, if you need some drive. For all my ladies out there, Rachel Hollis, give you some encouragement and empowerment. Brendon Burchard, Darren Hardy, to give you some excellent words of advice. Follow these guys. They've got awesome words of wisdom for free. You have free access to this. In a world with so much free access to technology and education and things to help you, ignorance is selective. You're choosing ignorance in the topics because you have a wide selection to choose from. How did I get where I am? Well, I had to start picking up books about coding, how to code a website, app developments, photography, podcasting. I read books, I watched YouTube videos, I researched the heck out of equipment. I've had to do my research. Coaching, I've had to go through classes, I've had to get certifications, I've had to get mentors, I've had to hire coaches, I've had to experiment on clients, I had to brand my own forms. There's so much that goes into each little aspect of what it is you want to do. Don't wait any longer to figure it out. Figure out what it is that you actually want to do, whether it's a hobby or a career. If you want to kayak, okay, well, what do you need to kayak? Probably a boat. Do you want to rent, or do you actually want to invest in one? Is this going to be a hobby you're going to do every week, maybe multiple times a week, that you might want to buy a kayak and a paddle and all the equipment that goes into it because it's going to pay off? You got to think about this stuff. It doesn't have to be something earth-shattering like a new career, but find something that gives you some drive. Research it. I mean, go after it 100%, all in. Chase after this. Listen to the podcast, read the books, do some research. You have no excuse. Your job typically owns you for 8 hours a day. You have 24 hours in a day. Even if you sleep for 8 hours, okay, that's 16 hours of your day that's gone. Think of how much time you have. That's another, 8 hours? One of those hours you can be spent working out. 2 hours eating will give you that. 5 full hours that you can devote to whatever you want to chase after. And that's just on working days. You got the weekend? Come on. There's no excuse. I listen to podcasts all day at work. So find whatever you can do. Make the best of the situation you have, but start working towards a better one. And if you need some help along the way, I'm here. Reach out to me. I love meeting new people. I love making friends. The whole point of this podcast is just so I can put some stuff out there in the world that hopefully helps us, a few people. It helped me. I hope it helps you. And to make some friends along the way. That's it. That's all I'm trying to accomplish, is leave a lasting impact and be a positive influence. So with that, I'm going to sign off. As always, if you guys have any material, any specific topics that you want to learn more about or have questions about, let me know. I actually took an Instagram poll, and it sounds like some of you want to learn about relationships. So our next podcast, we're going to talk more about relationships. And in the meantime, if you haven't followed the Instagram, it's Legacy Lifestyle Coaching. Pretty easy. Hit us up, give us a follow, a couple of likes, make some comments, tell us what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of. We have a website. It's legacy-lifestyle.com. Check that out. We've got a contact page. We post regular articles and vlogs. We have a YouTube page. Everything can be accessed from that website. So with that, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend ahead of you. Have a wonderful day.